Tao here. So Samsung just announced a bunch of new products and they let me have some early hands-on with everything. The Galaxy Fold 7 feels like a totally new phone. The Flip 7 continues to get better and the Galaxy Watch is totally refreshed. But I have a feeling not all these changes are gonna make everyone happy. So the Galaxy Fold 7 is officially here and it's a bit of a mixed bag. Let's start with the good. This thing has been completely reworked and what we have now honestly feels like a whole new product to me. The numbers are kind of wild. When folded, it's only 8.9 millimeters thick. That's 26% thinner than the Fold 6 and barely any thicker than the S25 Ultra. The outer display is also a little bigger and wider now, going from 6.3 to 6.5 inches with a much more familiar 21:9 aspect ratio. So basically, Samsung has finally engineered a fold that actually feels and handles like a regular phone when closed. Then you open it up and you get a bigger 8-inch display up from 7.6. It's of course also insanely thin unfolded, just 4.2 millimeters thick when open. And yeah, you feel that difference right away. It's lighter too. It's 10% lighter than the Fold 6, which Samsung says is about the weight of 2 decks of cards. Basically, this is easily the most comfortable and pocketable fold yet. So how did they pull that off? Well, here's where the compromise comes in. Samsung removed the digitizer layer for the S Pen. That means the Fold 7 no longer supports the S Pen at all. That's a pretty big loss and a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're one of those people who actually used it. The S Pen was a key selling point for the Fold, a productivity tool, a creative tool, and now it's just gone. Samsung clearly thinks the thinner, lighter redesign is worth the trade-off, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Back to the good, the cameras finally got some love this year. The main sensor is now 200 megapixels, pulled straight from the Galaxy S25 Ultra. And look, we've heard it forever, right? If this is Samsung's most expensive phone, why doesn't it have the best camera? Well, now it kinda does. Sorta. The main lens is a big win. It'll be sharper and should pull in more light. But the rest of the setup, it still looks to be the same and still not quite on S25 Ultra levels, especially if you care about taking zoom photos. So it's progress, but not a full camera overhaul. Now, here's another surprise. The under-display selfie camera on the main display is gone. It's been replaced with a much more traditional punch hole camera. It's a new 10 megapixel lens with a much wider field of view that's going to be a big step up in quality because it's not hiding behind a bunch of pixels. But if you're one of those people that never even used it, that little black dot just sitting in your unfolded screen might feel like a big downgrade. As for everything else, it's what you'd expect from a yearly refresh. It's running the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, paired with the same 4400 mAh battery as last year. Normally, I'd be a little disappointed not to see a bigger battery, but honestly, the fact that Samsung managed to make this thing thinner and lighter without cutting the battery size is pretty impressive. They're actually claiming a slight bump in battery life, up to 24 hours of video playback. So yeah, the battery size hasn't grown, which is a little disappointing, but endurance might actually be better. We shall see. Samsung is giving the Fold 7 a whole new identity. There's some bold changes for sure. The redesign is impressive, but losing S Pen support takes away from its appeal as the ultimate productivity device. Alright, let's talk about the Galaxy Z Flip 7, which got a handful of meaningful upgrades that I think will make a lot of fans happy. The most obvious change is the new cover display. Samsung's calling it the Infinity Flex window. It now stretches across the entire front of the phone with just cutouts for the dual cameras. It's 70% less bezels, and the screen itself is now 4.1 inches up from 3.4. It also jumps from a 60Hz to a 120Hz refresh rate with a very nice bump in brightness up to 2600 nits. So yeah, it's roomier, smoother, and way easier to see outdoors. It's just a nicer cover display in pretty much every aspect. That folder style design on the Flip 6 was fairly unique. It was cool, but side by side with this, it already feels dated. Software-wise, not a huge overhaul here. It's still the same card widget-based system we've seen before. If you want full app access, you'll likely still need to rely on Good Lock, which is fine, just not ideal. I do appreciate that Samsung's trying to be smart with the space inside the cameras, like using it to show countdowns for selfies. The main display also gets a size bump. It's now 6.9 inches up from 6.7 with a 21:9 aspect ratio. That's also 13% wider, which should help with the typing experience. You get a brightness bump here too. It matches the same 2600 nits of peak brightness as the cover display. Physically, they made the phone 8% thinner, but the weight hasn't changed from last year. And honestly, that's fine. I don't think anyone was really complaining about the Flip's weight to begin with. Now, here's something I didn't expect. A bigger battery. I was so ready for Samsung to copy and paste the same battery from last year, but no. The Flip 7 has a 4300 milliamp hour battery, up from 4000. Now, think about that for a second. The Flip 7, this tiny phone, literally has almost the same size battery as the Fold 7. There's no real changes to the camera hardware, but it should be a better experience thanks to their new AI engine. Apparently, pictures will have more natural skin tones and textures, which is cool. It can also automatically zoom in and out to get you the best framing for your photos and videos. It's powered by the same Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy and comes in 4 colors: jet black, blue shadow, mint, and coral red. So yeah, the new cover display and bigger battery are the highlights. With those upgrades, I can't help but feel like we're getting really close to the perfect modern flip phone. Obviously, durability and the crease are still things, but I'm excited for this. Alright, so Samsung didn't just stop at foldables, they also dropped not 1, not 2, but 3 new smartwatches. The Galaxy Watch 8, Watch 8 Classic, and Watch Ultra. The big shift across the lineup is this new cushion-style design language, which is basically having a round watch face on top of a soft square body. Every Galaxy Watch has some form of this. It's not going to be for everyone, but I will say it does give their watches a very distinct look now. The regular Watch 8 is your clean, minimal, everyday option. It's made out of armor aluminum, paired by default with a sport band. It comes in a 40 or 44 millimeter size with gray or graphite color options, and is actually 11% thinner than the Watch 7. Samsung also swapped out that traditional watch strap lug design for their dynamic lug system, which is supposed to give you a more comfortable, snug fit on your wrist. Otherwise, it's pretty familiar, same internals as last year, but the display now gets 50% brighter, hitting a peak brightness of 3000 nits. The Watch 8 Classic is probably the most interesting one because we haven't had a classic model since 2023. It has a stainless steel frame paired with a hybrid band. It comes in a single 46mm case size and is available in either black or white. The key selling point with the classic model is that it features the physical rotating bezel that just makes scrolling the UI way more intuitive. On top of that, they added a quick button similar to the one on the Ultra model. It's like a shortcut button that you can customize for different actions. Then there's the Watch Ultra, which is probably the least exciting if you own the previous model. It keeps the same rugged titanium build from last year, but adds a new titanium blue colorway and also doubles the storage to 64 gigabytes. That's pretty much it. These are actually the first smartwatches to feature Gemini integration, which is pretty cool, especially now that Google Assistant seems to be on its way out. Under the hood, all 3 models are powered by the same Exynos W1000 chip and 2 gigabytes of RAM, just like last year. But the health tracking did get an upgrade. There's an updated bioactive sensor that now lets you measure things like vascular age, vascular load, basically how hard your heart's working, and even your antioxidant levels. So yeah, this was actually a pretty loaded unpacked for Samsung. The Fold 7 feels like a totally new product now, for better or worse, depending on who you ask. The Flip 7's cover display and battery upgrades inch it closer to being the perfect modern flip phone. And their entire watch lineup has a unified design language now. I've got reviews for each coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments which one of these you're most tempted by. Is it the Fold, Flip, or maybe one of the watches? As usual, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out of here. Bye.